So I think we can start. Today we will have two main subjects. First is it's about those 5 energies of Shiva. And the second, the practical part, the practice, will have as support a poem by Abhinavagupta called Anubhava Nivedana, which you will see it's a very interesting presentation of how you can evolve your practice to experience yoga as part of life, as everyday life. But let's begin with the beginning. So the 5 energies of Shiva, which are a traditional way to look at the way in which consciousness use, or more precisely, play with this manifestation of shakti to create the world. And after we speak a little about each one of these 5 energies, we will see the traditional way in which these energies are combining to create the vowels of the alphabet, because the vowels of the alphabet are regarded as Shiva Tattva, as Shiva, and the consonants are regarded as Shakti, and every word is made by a combination of vowels and consonants, so resulting all the things in the world that are named and by this created. So the first energy are actually the first 2 energies, because they are always together, are called Chit and Ananda. So Chit is the consciousness and Ananda it's bliss. Like in that meditation that we did when we did Bhavana, you remember we used that Chitananda Rupah Shivoham Shivoham. My form is consciousness and bliss. I am Shiva, I am Shiva. So from this point of view, the subject of experience, which is Shiva, has as partner, or it's always with these 2 energies, which are Chit and Ananda. First of all, Chit, or consciousness, it's a very difficult to understand concept. For sure, we know and we experience consciousness, but we don't really know what is this consciousness. Sure, the scientists are trying to understand what is, but there is, as this moment, there is not a universal accepted theory about what is. We know how it manifests. We are aware of the world around us. We are conscious, but we don't really know how and why. And when we look at Shiva, and usually Shiva is regarded as consciousness, but you see consciousness, or more precisely awareness, is just energy that goes along with this I, which is Shiva. And bliss, the other part of this trinome, or three parts, which is called Shiva Shakti. Bliss, it's that enjoyment which is always around when you are conscious and aware and actually exist. Sure, in Vedanta they call it Sat Chit Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. But in Shaivism is like that Sat, that existence, I, it's Shiva, and the energies, awareness and bliss, are Shakti. And Shiva and Shakti are always together. So for this reason, Chit Ananda represents this very deep nature of existence. And it's always there, even if we don't experience it always, because for sure in deep sleep we are not aware that we are aware, but we feel good when we are in deep sleep. And sure, in the wakefulness, when we are awake, we are not always experiencing bliss, but bliss is always there, just covered with all the emotions and experiences of this world. But when we do like Hridaya meditation, and we ask ourselves, who am I, and try to find this deep nature of what we are, then we are going closer to this pure I feeling, and then we start to experience bliss. We start to experience this enjoyment of life, enjoyment of being. Sure, usually we expect that this ananda, this blissfulness, this beatitude to be something extraordinary that effectively blows our minds or make us feel exceptional. But bliss is not this kind of high of life, because usually when you have this high of life, you have also the low of life. So usually when you think about this kind of happiness, that is the high place of your existence, you imply that you have some very low part of your existence. Blissfulness, this kind of ananda, it's more like you have always enjoyed being, but it's not high, not low. It's pure enjoyment, always there. For this, for sure, you have to come closer to your true nature, and this is the difficult part, because we are always identifying ourselves with the situation, emotions, experiences, and such, and we forget about that deeper part of ourselves that again has as nature enjoyment, blissfulness. And for this reason, when we identify ourselves with the experiences of life, for sure we have highs and we have lows, and we strive to get high, but life usually brings us down again and again. We are like that thing in a story with Sisyphe. I don't know if you are familiar with the story of Sisyphe, which was cursed by gods to push a big stone up the hill, but every time he was getting up the hill, the stone will get back down. And again, he start to push the stone up the hill, but when he got up, the stone goes back. We, in a way, are this Sisyphus, which always push ourselves to get to the higher point of life, but life then get us down. And this is only because we identify with this story. When we go in meditation and we go deep in meditation, we start to feel that blissfulness of life, which is pure and simple. Doesn't have a reason, doesn't have some motivation behind. It's just our nature. Or this Ananda, it's part of this Shiva nature. We are blissfulness. Yes. And again, every time we speak about this deeper nature, we use this description, Chidananda, consciousness and bliss. And even when we refer to Shiva as consciousness, again, Shiva is just that pure I feeling, which has as energy, awareness and bliss. For this reason, these 5 energies are considered fundamental for understanding how Shiva manifests. And again, we will see that these 5 energies are reflected in ourselves, because we are, after all, we are Shiva. Just a little Shiva that is covered by those kanchukas, those limitations, and forgets about his true nature and such. But still we manifest these energies. We are aware, and sure, when we are not identified with the situations of life or emotion and such, we feel that enjoyment of life. We feel that blissfulness. The next energy, again, Chidananda usually are together, presented together and experienced together. But the next 3 energies are a little bit more individualized or separated. First of them is called Icha. Yes, you want to ask a question? If you want to ask a question, just open your mic and say. Don't.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sebastian. I wanted to ask a question, and I'm sorry for my broken English. Is there any difference between consciousness and awareness? I just thought that awareness is more my personal being aware of.
Yes, I am not very sure because my English is not that good. But usually awareness is the action of consciousness. So my consciousness acts using awareness. So I am aware of something, I am conscious of something.
Oh, there has to be awareness first, and then it maybe becomes more or less spiritual consciousness, more on a higher level.
Consciousness is more like the subject, and the awareness is the action of that subject.
Okay.
So sure, I am a conscious being, but I use this awareness to be conscious of something. I don't know if it's in my language we use the same word. Okay. It's not like in English that are these 2 kind of words.
In German it's completely difficult to translate these words. And the second question, if I'm allowed.
Yes, you
Shakti
are allowed.
Of Shiva. Did you explain that in the beginning?
Yes, it's not a good way to express it, because Shakti doesn't belong to Shiva, but it's together with Shiva. But it's more like let's put it like this. There is this kind of called Paramashiva. Paramshiva, which is like God, which is beyond understanding. And this God is not Shiva, not Shakti. It's beyond this. And when this transcendental being wants to create the world, he make this polarization between consciousness and energy. Again, consciousness in the sense that there is a subject, someone who has the experience, and the energy that creates and manifests that experience. So for this reason, it's not very good to say the Shakti of Shiva, because it's not that that Shakti belongs to Shiva, but it's an expression of this consciousness that is Shiva. Is more like Shiva, it's unmovable, static, and Shakti is the dynamic aspect. So when that consciousness moves, manifests as Shakti. And sure, for this reason are those word plays in which Shiva without Shakti is Shava, it's just a body, it's a dead body. Shava means dead body. And actually in Sanskrit, in the language, it's an actual thing. If you take a little sign from Shiva, it becomes Shava. It's like the actual word changes with this little thing. So Shiva without Shakti, it's dead. It's unmoving. Shakti is the one that animates this consciousness, make it do things and such and such. So for this reason, for sure, for our mind, it's very difficult to understand how it's this play between those kind of things. But they are always together, and you cannot say Shiva is of Shakti or Shakti is of Shiva, because they are it's like you have a coin with two faces.
Okay, I understand. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And again, if you have questions or you want to express something, just do it. Open your mics, or sure, you can write it, but it's a little bit more difficult because I have to read it before. And if you just open your mic and speak, it's more easily, because it's better to have a dialogue and not just a monologue. So, getting farther away, from this nature of Chidananda comes the next energy, which is called Icha. Now, this Icha, it's an interesting thing. Now, if you read books on Shaivism and such, they call it will, the power of will, or intention. I want something. It's like this. In my small Shiva world, it's this manifestation of I want to do something, I want to know something, I want to be some, etc. So this is the energy of will. Some people translate it as desire, but usually you will see all the authors of Shaivism avoid call it desire, because desire usually it's like a bad word. It's like, oh, you have desires, then you are attached to things, or you have lust for things and such, and usually people avoid this desire. But from the perspective of this play of Shiva and Shakti, desire has some more intimate feeling to it. It's like it's coming from a deeper place. It's not some cold-hearted mental thing, but it's a heart thing. So I will not avoid to call it desire, but you have to keep in mind it's not a usual desire, but this kind of intimate will, intimate intention to do something, manifest something, and such. So from this perspective, and we will speak like from this Srishti Krama, we talked a lot about Samhara going from Prithvi to Shiva, but now these energies are more like going from Shiva to Prithvi. So in this consciousness and bliss appears this intention, this desire, because again it's an intimate thing, and you see that usually Shiva and Shakti are represented like making love, being in an intimate union, and not for a lustful purpose, not like they are sexually aroused and want to just feel that sexual fulfillment, but because of this intimate relationship that exists between consciousness and energy. So for this reason, we call it that intention. It's a desire to manifest the world, to experience the world. So Shiva making love to Shakti is this union between consciousness and energy, appears this intention or desire to create, to manifest something. And for sure we experience this in our day-to-day life. We have intention to do, create, manifest something. Sometimes it's just the intention without, and here we will see how it plays the other energies, jnana and kriya, because at first it's just this pure intention. I want to create something, I want to do something. I don't really know for now how it will be or what we will be, but I have this desire, I have this intention, will, and such. And then for sure appears this jnana, the fourth energy. I have to know what I want to do, how it will be, that thing that I will want to do and such. I need this knowledge. And I want to understand that those five energies are together, are not appearing like we are describing them as a krama, as a succession, because this is how our minds work. But imagine that at that level there is no time. Time appears after Maya, after illusion. Before that, there is no time. All things are simultaneous. So if there is desire or intention, there is knowledge, there is action. They are together in that paradoxical space-time. I call it paradoxical because, again, our mind cannot really understand how things can be simultaneous, but also have like a succession or a krama. But this is how it is in that point of existence of the universe. So you have to have this knowledge. How? It's not enough to want to do something, you have to know how to do it. So for this reason, there is this necessity to have knowledge. And again, we see it in our day-to-day life. And third is that kriya, that energy of action. And we spoke about a little the last time, is not action per se, but that flowing action. And they made that difference between karma, action that generates fruits, generates that results, and this kriya, this flowing action without attachment or focusing on the purpose or goal of that action, just pure action. This is kriya. So Shiva just let this action manifest. And now let's see how this is explained through the vowels of the Sanskrit alphabet. So Shiva, it's seen as these 16 vowels. In Sanskrit alphabet are 16s. Sure, we are aware of a lot less, but in the Sanskrit alphabet there are 16. And I will take you through each of them. I will try to be as short as I can, because sure it's a bit complicated, but I think also it's beautiful to see how they look at this world through the lens of this manifestation through words. Is like Shiva or God speaking manifest things. It's like he expresses it and the things are there. So for this reason they look at this. It's called Matrika Shakti. It's the Shakti is the energy of the alphabet. Matrika, it's like an endearing term which means little mothers, or sure can be mother specific, but little mothers, because each letter it's a mother through which through which Shiva creates something. So for this reason they are called little mothers. Each letter is a mother. In the Sanskrit alphabet are 50 letters. So 50 letters. So our Latin alphabet is a lot smaller, like half of it. But in Sanskrit are these 50 letters. We will not speak about all the letters or how they are related to the tattvas. It's a complicated subject, and I am not very myself, I'm not very sure of how all the letters are pronounced, and I will not take you through them. But I will give you, before we start this part, a little quotation from Siddhanta, Shaiva Siddhanta text called Raurava Sutra Samgraha, which says like this: all gods are made of mantras, and all mantras are made of Shiva. Knowing this word to be made of Shiva, one should always meditate on Shiva. To release people from the bonds of Maya, 70 million mantras endowed with Shiva's power were produced from the imperishable soul, the Lord. So what this quotation says is that all things are created by these energies of words, and because each word has in it, each Sanskrit word anyway, has in it a vowel, then each thing is made by Shiva or made of Shiva. It has Shiva in it. And of course, in the Sanskrit alphabet, each letter is pronounced with a on termination. So, like for example, V it's va, T it's ta. So it always has this. Maybe it's not like this accentuated that a. It's more like o, but it's always there. So Shiva is always present in each word and in each thing that that word names. So the first letter, and like you see there, first letter of the Sanskrit alphabet, it's O. I say it O is not O, but it's an A short. A in English, but A it's short. And this A it's called Anuttara, and it's Chit Shakti and a symbol of Shiva. All the vowels are part of the Shiva Tattva. And again, they are energies, but conscious energies. So it's this play between Shiva and Shakti. For us, it's again a little bit hard to understand that Shiva and Shakti are together always. So we cannot speak about one without another. But in the common speaking, in the common language, we speak about energies, or we speak about consciousness or Shiva, but again, they are always there. So first A, it's Anuttara, it's Shiva. And the second, which is A, it's an longer A, and in transcription from Sanskrit to Unicode to European language, it's that A with a line above, and that is Ananda Shakti, the bliss of Shiva. So they are always, again, they are always together because they are the inner nature of this consciousness, of this I, which is Shiva. So where is consciousness, there is bliss. When is bliss, there is consciousness. Again, we have to separate bliss from Ananda. We have to separate this bliss from what we usually understand as happiness, because that happiness usually means that it has a cause, something made us happy, and it's a high that then will be followed by a low. The blissfulness of existence, it's always there, and it's a part of being and being aware. So the next two vowels, which is E and E, again, I pronounce them from Romanian, and in English is I and I. I don't know how to pronounce it longer in English, but it's E and E, like a longer and accentuated E. They both represent Icha Shakti, the willpower, but first the energy of will, it's the shorter I, shorter E, and the fourth, first E, first Icha, it's called Shanta. It's unagitated, it's still, it's calm, it's just, I have this desire to do something. But the second, the longer I, it's called the agitated form, and usually it's called Ishana or Ishana, because it's a longer E. And this means mastery, lordship, sovereignty. It's like this Icha becomes dynamic, becomes, in Lakshmanju words, agitated. So at first it's just that impulse, that intention, but then this intention becomes more powerful and want to express and manifest. For sure, the next two letters, which is U and U, U and U, in English, I don't know, it's different, but it's U and U. First, it's Unmesha, the first phase of Jnana, because these two letters represents Jnana, knowledge. First, it's called Anmesha, which means unfolding. So the creation is just about to begin. It's like from our perspective, it's like a mental creation. It's like it's in our mind. We know it, we visualize it, but it's not actually there. It's just that potentiality, that possibility, it's there. So this is the unfolding. The possibility appears and it's manifested. But then it's like, and they express it like it's a human thing. Shiva has this hesitation. Will this manifestation take away my Ananda and Chit, my Chitananda, my consciousness and bliss? Will they diminish in a way? And for this reason, the longer U, it's called Unata, which means lessening, or somehow that mental image, that possibility, it's calmed down a little bit. Sometimes in Tantra Sara, for example, a text of Abhinavagupta, this longer U is called Urmi, or wave, because this moment is like a wave of expression. Then we have 4 letters which are very hard to pronounce because are unusual for the way we speak. First is Ri, 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 Ri. It's like somehow like this, and these are called Anashrita Shiva. For a moment, Shiva just get back to his consciousness and bliss, and doesn't want to go farther away with the creation. And these vowels, because there are very little words that use those, at least some of these vowels. Ri, I think it's more common, but Ri or Ri longer are very, very uncommon. So for this reason, they are called eunuchs, or they are not creating anything. And for this reason, they are called Anashrita. They are like seeds that cannot grow a plant. It's like this described. And the reason that there is this stage of Anashrita Shiva is because of that hesitation of Shiva. He doesn't know if he will go with the creation or just remain in his consciousness and bliss. But then that dynamic state of Icha, that dynamic state of willpower, of intention, makes the things go farther, because Chit and Ananda Shaktis don't recognize this hesitation. They don't understand this hesitation. So they want to go with the creation. For this reason, the next vowels are called the 4 states of Kriya Shakti, the 4 states of action, of this flowing action, this action that flows from Shiva. And they are vowels that are created by combination between Chit and Ananda with Icha and Jnana. So the first vowel is from the combination of A and A with the Icha Shakti, which is E and E, and they create together the letter E. E in English, so E. And then from the contact from Chit, Ananda and this letter E, so this first phase of Kriya, it's created it's called diphthong A, I, which sounds like E from the English, but it's spelled A-E, like you see in the image. So first of this Kriya is called Asputa. It's not dynamic, not vivid. The second is called Sputa, which is dynamic, it's alive. The third phase of Kriya Shakti, of this energy of flowing action, is created from the contact between Chit and Ananda, A and A, with Jnana, which is U and U, and they create together the letter O. And this is called Sputatara. It's more dynamic, more alive. And then Chit, Ananda and O, so A and A together with O create the letter O. Again, it's a diphthong, it's this kind of composed letter, and for this reason, for example, Om, it's spelled A-U-M, but it's that M with the point, which is actually, like you will see, called a vowel, but it's only a nasalization, is like comes from the nose. And for this reason, O sounds like Om, and usually it's spelled Om, but traditionally when you will see you will see this mantra described in text, they say that it's A or A, it's U or U, and that M. So there is 3 letters, not just 2. It's not just Om, it's Aum, that composed O, which sounds like O, but it's O. So, and the last 2 of these vowels, of these 16 vowels, first is called Anubhava, which is just a point. In Sanskrit language is just a point. We in European or Western script, we put it like that M with a point. Sometimes it's put below, sometimes it's put above. But it's called Anushvara because even if all these things happened, still Shiva is like a point. Everything it's like they call it Bindu. Bindu means seed. It's like all creation, it's a seed that didn't start to grow in a full tree. It's just a seed. Nothing happened yet. All things will happen after Maya, after the illusion creates that magic of limiting the divine consciousness. And then the last, it's called Visharga. And Visharga, again, in Sanskrit script, are 2 points. So the 1 point, which is Anushvara, separate in 2 points. And from this moment, creation starts. Because appears that splitting, that splits again and splits again and splits again. And from this we have all the things. So to end this presentation, the 5 main energies of Shiva, or the main 5 ways in which consciousness express itself as Shakti, are this Chit and Ananda, awareness and bliss, Jnana, or first of all, Icha, Jnana and Kriya, intention, will, knowledge and action. And for sure, there is this correlation between these energies and the Sanskrit alphabet. First, vowels are regarded as Shiva, and then consonants are regarded as Shakti. And like I told you, there are 36 tattvas. So the rest of the letters, the consonants, create all the tattvas. And sure, there is this kind of reflection. Chit reflects in each level and creates Purusha and such and such. Ananda again reflects in each level and creates Prakriti and such and such. And like each level, it's colored or impregnated by these 5 energies, and each tattva is impregnated by these 5 energies. So Akasha is Chit, Vayu is Ananda, fire it's will, power and intention, Apas or water it's Jnana, and Prithvi it's Kriya. And sure, in a way it makes sense a little that all this is this reflection of these 5 energies in each level of the 25 tattvas. And sure, in Sanskrit, a lot of letters are put together in 5s. So 5s that are from the throats, 5s are from the palate, and such and such. But it's a theory that it's sometimes presented in a way, sometimes in another way, and we will not speak about it this time. So this is with the 5 energies. If you have questions about this before we go to the second part. Sure, I didn't speak too much about the way that those energies are expressed by us, because we are, like I said, a Shiva in this world, and even if those cosmic energies are somehow limited by Maya and Kanchukas, they are still present in us, so we still have awareness and bliss, we still have the power of will, we still have knowledge, and we still have the power to act, Kriya. But sure, they are sometimes limited, sometimes even perverted by this world, and from that pure intention it becomes desire, lust, and such. From that pure awareness it becomes just a simple consciousness of things, and again a lot of kriya becomes karma, and like this. But sure, we can reverse this process, and the spiritual practice is meant to get us back to that cosmic level. So the next part it's about this very short poem of Abhinavagupta. Like I said, it's called Anubhava Nivedana, the offering of the intimate experience. And it speaks about some techniques and also some possibilities to bring yoga to our everyday life. And I think for this reason it's nice to know about it. Now, about the translation, it's a bit complicated because what you see on the screen, it's actually translated from Romanian, which is translated from French. So the original version, which is a translation of Lilian Silburn in a book called Hymns to Shiva of Abhinavagupta. So there are more this kind of poems. There is another translation of this poem made in English, but that translation it's a bit more dry. Even so, you can imagine this translation is not that dry, but that was even drier. But sure, my mastery of English didn't allow me to be much more poetic, so I want to apologize for this. So let's see the first verse. When a yogi, breath and mind dissolved in Atman, perceived internally, gazes fixedly with the eyes motionless, and though seeing the world outside does not see it, such is verily the seal of Shiva produced by your grace, O Master. This realm free of emptiness and non-emptiness is the Shaivit reality. So what it's all about? I think most of you know about Shambhavi Mudra. The seal of Shiva, it's actually Shambhavi Mudra. This Shambhavi Mudra, it's a very known technique, very known practice in the Shaivit tradition, but also in the Hatha Yoga tradition. Some texts, I don't really know if Hatha Yoga Pradipika or Gheranda Samhita get this verse almost word by word and put in their text. So it's almost copied from this poem of Abhinavagupta. There is a lot of different versions of this Shambhavi mudra. So in Geranda Samhita is presented like you gaze to the middle between the two eyebrows. So in this point, at the root of the nose between the eyebrows, and it's seen like a way to gaze, to fix your eyes or your eyesight. But I think this is like an outer practice, is like something external. The inner version, which is called here Shambhavi Mudra, but actually in the Shaivi tradition it's called Bhairavi Mudra. Shambhavi and Bhairavi are the energies of Shiva and Bhairava. Bhairava it's another name of Shiva, which is the terrible one. But the signification is that it's a way of keep your awareness in your heart, in your inner essence, but in the same time being present in the world, being or interacting with the world. So usually this means that you meditate with your eyes open. Sure, we are used with the meditation with the eyes closed, and this is for the fact that our mind is easily distracted, and we don't want to be distracted by the things that are around us, and for this reason we prefer to keep the eyes closed, to be in a quiet place. So also we can put some plugs in our ears to don't hear much, and the room has to not be smelly, and so our senses are not attracted by the things around us. And in this way we can be more aware of what is happening inside. But meditating in this way creates like a rift, like a separation between our inner life and our outer life. And for this reason, a lot of people that are in spirituality create this duality between my spiritual life when I practice yoga or meditate, and my mundane life when I go to work or interact with people and such. Which is not ideal, for sure. Creating this duality and this separation, this rift between things is not a good thing. And for this reason, in some traditions, like in Buddhism, they meditate with eyes open. Sure enough, in some forms of Zen meditation, they meditate with the face to the wall, so they don't see too much. Sure, the wall can be very interesting. It has a lot of things going there in the paint or such, but still it's less distracting if you look at the wall and not look at your colleagues. But again, if you can keep your awareness inside, even if your senses are open to the outside, it's a way to bring, so to speak, to bring the meditation in the everyday life. So we can look at it like three stages, through three steps. First, sure, we meditate with eyes closed and try to find our inner essence, to get to our heart and be closer to this inner existence. Then we can meditate with eyes open, still trying to maintain that awareness of the heart. And then the third stage, we can do our action still being aware of our heart. Sure, these stages, these steps, again, they are not, they don't have to be like separated. We can try to meditate for a while with eyes open, then meditate for a while with meditate with eyes closed, then meditate with eyes open, and then try to keep that awareness of the heart when we do our actions in the world. So they don't have to be stages in our meditation, but sure, we have to first be capable or can go deeper in our heart before we can keep that awareness when we go outside in the world. And for this reason, meditate with eyes closed for as much as you can. Go to retreats where you can even stay blindfolded for a while to get in touch with your heart. But then open your eyes. Open your eyes, keeping that awareness of the heart. So what we will do in our meditation today, it's trying to experience these stages. We will meditate for a while with eyes closed. Then we will open our eyes, trying to keep that awareness of the heart. And then after we end our meeting, try to go to your activities if it's still light outside, or to sleep if it's late, keeping that awareness of the heart. And if this becomes a way that you do your meditation every day, you can bring more of that awareness of the heart in everyday life, and in this way diminish that rift, that separation between what we call spiritual life and what we call mundane life, because it's just life. There is no, for sure, there is no this separation. It's just life. Sometimes meditating, sometimes acting in everyday world, but it's just life. And this way of meditating help us to again bring that awareness to the world. You will see at first that is not so easy, because we are not used to keep our eyes open when we meditate. And for sure our mind will be sometimes distracted by things around us. Sometimes we can daydream even if we have eyes open. Our mind can drift and daydreaming. But trying and trying again will bring more of that awareness of the heart in this kind of open-eyed experience. And sure enough, trying to keep that awareness of the heart when we do our chores or sweep the floor, clean the dishes, or doing our work, will infuse this awareness in those actions. And if we do it good enough, karma will become kriya. So we will be more detached, doing things from our heart, and in this way action will flow through us without obstacles or hindrance. So this is about this first verse. Yes, the breath and mind dissolved in Atman. Yeah, it's like we meditate in Hridaya. Breathing has that small gap between inhalation and exhalation. So in that point, the mind and breathing dissolves in our heart. Our eyes sure are open, and in those kind of meditation with open eyes, it's recommended to keep your eyes open without blinking. This is the hard part, without blinking, because usually when we blink, our mind tends to focus on something, because this is how our eyes work. When we blink, our eyes want to focus. So it will be at first a little bit of effort to not blink, or if we blink, to keep our awareness of the heart, not let our mind to grasp what it sees. And after that, after we do this, we just go out in the world. It's in a way it's a good possibility to end our meditations. So instead of just call it a day, it is time to finish my meditation, and I just go up and go in my doing my things. Let for 10 minutes or 15 minutes meditate with this kind of eyes open and awareness inside. And after that, keeping that awareness, just go about our business. In Hridaya, we, and I think you are aware of this, and Sahaja usually says like this, keeping the awareness of the heart, open your eyes and finish our meditation or such. So we have this keeping the awareness of the heart when we finish. But what we can add to this, it's this opening of the eyes for a while and try to keep the awareness of the heart with eyes open. And for sure, we will speak at some point of this Krama Mudra, which is a way of going in and out of the deeper state of meditation, opening our eyes, feeling that our consciousness go out to the world with the senses, but trying to keep the awareness of the heart. When that awareness dissipates or disappears, we go back in and go deeper in our heart, and then opening again the eyes, go, let the senses go out, keeping our awareness in and such. And this kind of balancing between out and in will find a balance that is again useful in the outside world. But let's try first this, and then we will try that. The second verse continue this idea of Shambhavi Mudra. With eyes half open, with mind motionless, gazed fixed on the tip of the nose, sun and moon merged into the intimate spontaneity of the triple movement, he reaches reality. This essentially luminous domain, devoid of all exteriority, unique being, eminence, supreme essence. What more can we say here? The second verse speaks about this like I told you, is presented in Gheranda Samhita, is not the tip of the nose in this way, but the tip of the nose in this way. So the point between the eyebrows. For sure, in the yoga tradition, they used both points to fix the gaze, the point between eyebrows and the tip of the nose. And usually they use it like when you want to focus your mind, you use the point between your eyebrows. When you want to focus your mind but in the same time keep it relaxed, you focus on the tip of the nose. For example, sometimes in meditation, your mind becomes frustrated because, I don't know, the stillness didn't appear yet, and you try from all your heart and with all your might to be focused, but something is not going how you want. And so the mind is focused, but there is this tension in the mind. And in this case, it's recommended the tip of the nose. But sometimes your mind is just dissipated and you are drifting very easily away, daydreaming or thinking about what something desires or problems or anything. When your mind is like this, dissipated and drifting, then it's recommended this point between your eyebrows. But in this way, in this second verse, there is this eyes half open. Eyes half open is recommended when you want to keep your eyes open without blinking, because if you open your eyes wide, then your eyes will dry faster, and you will have to blink or you will cry. Tears will come up because the body wants to wet the eyeballs, and you will cry. So keeping the eyes half open, we will slow this drying process and will help you to keep your eyes open without blinking for a longer period of time. And in this way, keep your concentration. Sure, mind motionless, it's what meditation means. Keep your mind still, without thoughts or without those vrittis, those vortexes of the mind. And sure, sun and moon merged is that union between action and relaxation, which is yoga. And this is what Abhinavagupta said. What more can we say here? But then the next part, the third and fourth verses, are again very interesting because they speak about like a kind of spontaneous yoga. So when we can meditate with eyes open like this, every word that comes out of his mouth is the supernatural formula. It's a mantra. So every word that comes out of his mouth, it's a mantra. The existence of the body from which pleasure and pain proceed, that is the indescribable attitude, mudra. The spontaneous flow of the breath, that is prodigious yoga. Having experienced the absolute splendor of the divine energy, verily, what will not shine for me? The mantra, so the fourth, I will read you both verses and then we will discuss it. The mantra which imposed itself on the mind is that in which one no longer distinguish the arrangement of the phonemes, of the letters. And this is about nada, the sound of silence. The attitude, mudra, which arises spontaneously, all bodily activity having ceased, yoga reveals itself when the flow of the breath stops. So the attitude arises spontaneously, mudra arises spontaneously when all body activity have ceased, and yoga reveals itself when the flow of the breath stops. In the dazzling feasts that leads to your splendor, verily, what is there for the wise being that is not marvelous? So, what all this means and how we can practice this, because this, I think, is more important. How can we practice this? So, the first thing, every word that comes out of his mouth, it's a mantra. When we understand this essence of existence, we understand the power of the words. We understand the power that words have to create reality. So when we speak aware of this power. Every word that we speak, it's like a mantra, creates a reality inside the mind of the one who listened to that word. So this is the power of speech. You heard about it when, I don't know, for example, when Patanjali speaks about, just a moment, when Patanjali speaks about the effects of satya. So when you respect satya and speak only the truth, then what you speak becomes real, because you always speak the truth. What you speak is real. So sure, it's like a CD, like a supernatural power, but it's correlated. When you are respecting always the truths, you cannot speak something that is not real. So what you speak, it's reality. This verse of Abhinavagupta, it's almost the same. When you are established in that Atman, in that inner reality, all your words have this power to manifest. But in the same time, you will not speak without responsibility. You will know that when I speak beautiful words, that beautiful words will create inside the mind of my listener a beautiful reality. So I am responsible about the way I use the words, because they have this power. And they come from this inner reality. And then the second part, it's when we are established in this awareness of the heart, anyway we sit or put our bodies, it's like a spiritual mudra. Mudra is this attitude. I sit my body and I arrange my body to express this heart. It's not like I'm just sitting, but I am doing yoga. And what this means in our everyday life is that we are more aware of the way in which our body expresses this inner reality. Because anyhow, in each moment, our body expresses our inner reality, for sure. When we are happy, our face is lit by a smile and we have our shoulders taken back and we have this kind of attitude that expresses happiness. When we are sad and worried, our face is and our shoulders. So we express in each moment what is in our mind and heart. But when what is in our mind and heart, it's the divine, what we express with our body is this mudra. So sure, the middle way, before we are always aware of this inner heart, is to be more aware of this way in which our body expresses what is inside of us, and transform this in a mudra when we are connected with our heart. And the fourth part, the flow of breathing, that is yoga. For sure, the awareness of the breathing and again the awareness of that small gap between inhalation and exhalation teaches us to be balanced, because that point between breathings, between inhalation and exhalation, it's a point of balance. So inhalation, it's balanced with exhalation. Exhalation, it's balanced with inhalation in that gap between breathings. So this is the third verse in which we can practice this. We can be aware of the breathing to find that balance, that inner balance. We can be aware of our body to express more fully the inner self, that divine that is in each of us, and be more aware of our words so that they become full of power. And when we speak, we transfer this reality to the one who listens to us. So we will use beautiful words to create beautiful realities. And we will speak less so that each word has more energy. I am not speaking less, but I hope with enough energy. So the fourth verse, it's going a step further away and says that that mantra which impregnates the mind and in which we cannot distinguish between letters anymore, that it's the nada, that it's the real mantra. So I think you are aware of this phenomenon. When you meditate with a mantra, at some point the letters merge and what you feel and hear is just this inner sound, which is called nada usually, or even anahata nada, which means a sound without a cause, because anahata means without hitting. Usually a sound is made by putting something in vibration, and this usually means hitting something. Or anahata means without cause, because there is nothing that creates that sound. Is the inner sound of consciousness, and sometimes it's called the sound of silence, because in silence we become more aware of this vibration of our consciousness. So the real mantra, the real nature of the mantra is this inner sound of silence, this nada. Then Abhinavagupta said that mudra appears spontaneously when the body is still, when there is no movement. So usually a meditation means that we are expressing through our body this inner reality of our inner self, our Atman. And sure, when the flow of breath stops, then yoga reveals itself. Again, that gap between breathings, that is the moment in which we can know yoga as this balance between breathings. So you see, in this small poem, Abhinavagupta offers us these kind of methods to bring meditation and that which we find in meditation, to bring that to our everyday life, but not in a superficial way, but in this kind of profound way in which our body, speech and breath expresses that inner reality. And for sure we start with this kind of usual meditation, but then we try to bring it to life, not keep it separated from life, because otherwise meditation becomes like a refuge. We run away from life in this I stay with my eyes closed, with my senses closed, and I don't want to know about anything, and I just want to be with myself. And for sure in other texts they go further and say what your eyes see, it's God. What your hands touch is God. What your nose smell is God. Because when you are connected with that inner reality, you can see that it's manifested in each and every aspect of your life and what you see and experience. So let's meditate. Like I said, we will do it like this for 15 minutes. We will meditate with eyes closed, doing our usual Hridaya meditation. Then we will half open the eyes, though don't open them wide, but half open the eyes and try not to focus your gaze on anything. Just look at the space in front of you. Just look at the space. It's like I look at this empty space which is in front of me, not at the eye level, but a little lower. So it's like this. They said that the eyes are more relaxed when the gaze it's a little bit lower. So we look at the space which is like this. And in the same time try to keep that awareness of the heart. If we struggle with this awareness, we can close the eyes, go back inside deeper, and then again open the eyes and try again to keep that awareness of the heart with the eyes open. So first, close your eyes, straighten your back, open your chest a little, your body expressing that mudra, being still without movement. We find that inner balance between firmness of the posture and relaxation. In this way, we can stay still for longer periods of time. We are aware of our breathing, and of that small gap between inhalation and exhalation, in which the mind remains suspended for a second or two, between thoughts, between breathings. We inhale, going to the heart. Exhale, remaining in the heart. Opening ourselves to that inner reality. We become more aware of our spiritual heart, our essence, that we find in that stillness when the mind is suspended, when the breathing is suspended. We can use Atma Vichara, introspection, asking ourselves the question, who am I? We ask the question, we are the answer. Mind cannot answer to this question. Just being is the answer. For sure, we can be aware that thoughts appear, but then we ask ourselves, who is the one thinking? Me? Who am I? We can become aware of emotions, good or bad. We ask ourselves, who is the one feeling these emotions? Me? Who am I? We can become aware of sensation in our body, pleasant or unpleasant sensation. Who is the one feeling them? Me? Who am I? We get back again and again to this I feeling, that answer to the question. This I feeling become a tremor of the heart, a luminous vibration, more and more intense, in which we can surrender ourselves, just being before being someone or something, pure existence, pure consciousness, pure bliss, Satchitananda. Or like Shaivism says, Chidananda Rupach, having the form of consciousness and bliss. Or being consciousness and bliss without form. We go deeper and deeper in this reality of being, just being. We surrender ourselves to our heart, to this tremor, spanda. Now we half open our eyes, looking at the space in front of us, but trying to keep the awareness of the heart, trying to continue to be focused on that eye feeling, on that tremor of the heart. Seeing but not seeing. If we feel that we lose our awareness of the heart, we can softly close our eyes again and go back. And when we are feeling confident, we can again half open eyes and looking at the space. But more and more we try to remain aware of the heart with the eyes open. Who am I? Our eyes, even open, see only the inner reality. Keeping the awareness of the heart, we now open our eyes wider. We can blink now for a few times to let the eyes adjust. Wipe the tears if you have them. So, if you have questions or if you want to share something with the others, now is the moment.
I have a question.
Yes.
At some point in my meditation, I find that I lose the practice. It's like it's kind of like I dissolve into the bliss, and then when I try to remember the practice, it sort of brings me back into my body, and so I'm a little confused about how aware of the technique I need to be, because it seems like if I get to the point where I don't know, the technique sort of becomes beside the point. So I'm just wondering about that.
Yes, for sure. The technique, it's beside the point when you are in that blissful state of awareness. So you don't have to do it anymore. For this reason, there are various techniques, various practices to get you there. But once you are there, you don't need them anymore. It's like the usual metaphor. It's like when you cross a river and you use a boat, you don't carry your boat with you on the land because you don't need it anymore. Just use it to get across. So for sure, for this reason, we speak about that surrender. That surrender is the moment that you renounce the technique to the actual practice and you are just being. But yes, usually it's like a spiral. You go to that bliss, but then your mind gets you back, and then you practice again, you do the technique and go back then. But it's always deeper, I think, for me. It's always deeper. Even if you are stepping out, when you go back, it's deeper.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Onur, we don't hear you.
I'm waiting until the picture will come. I have several questions.
Yes.
First one about the Shiva and Shakti energy, which we had at the start. You said they are both like always together there. Is it like this kind of interaction in existence when something is materialized, like with everything other? Because like if something exists, it's kind of aware of its surroundings, even if it's like in our definition not a living thing, but part of the universe. It's still like aware of its surroundings, like.
Yes, I think I understand the question, but this is only when we speak about a Purusha. Otherwise, the experience of the, I don't know, the universe that we call it material universe is not like a separation. So when we see the world, we see objects in the world. But objects themselves don't feel this separation because they are not a consciousness like a Purusha that experience the world in this separated way. So the table doesn't feel that it is a table, but is the part, it's the universe, like this. So for this reason we cannot speak about an object as feeling itself like an object. It's clear. So it's an interesting thing. Sure enough, you have to be a Purusha to experience separation. If you are not this Purusha, which is an aware being, you don't experience separation. You are just universe. You are not feeling yourself that you are a table, a bed, or something.
I had it more my interpretation was more like there's like an consciousness in everything.
Yes, there is consciousness in everything. There is consciousness in everything, but it's not a dual consciousness. It's like you understand. It's not like a table feel itself like a table. The table, it's universe. It's part of the universe.
Like this play of Shiva and Shakti still takes place. Like when you have little atoms, they still like push and pull each other. They're like taking this.
Yeah. Yes. It's like a reflection of that play. But again, to experience that, you have to have this Purusha. For sure, they speak about, yes, the Purusha is at first a rock and evolves in a microbe and in the plant and then in an animal, then in a human. But it has to be a Purusha, someone who has that experience. Most of the things that we call themselves things, they are not like these separated things. I don't know if it's clear enough. Even if we refer to ourselves, for sure we think of our body as being separated from the universe. But actually, our body is part of the universe in which exists. And if we use this logic, every cell of our being is a Purusha from this point of view. But it's not quite like this, you know. But sure, like you said, this play between Shiva and Shakti, it's reflected in every aspect of the universe. In like that kind of holographic view. So every part reflects that universal thing, but to experience it, you have to be a Purusha, a conscious being. And for sure, a Purusha which is limited by those Kanchukas, because if you are just Shiva, everything is part of you. You cannot experience this separation.
But then, like everything is also part of this big Purusha as well. So we are kind of in the Maya kind of divided from Shiva's Purusha, but we are still part of it. So everything.
Purusha, it's limited Shiva. It's like this in Shaivism. Purusha is when Shiva is limited by Kanchukas. But this is Maya because Maya makes from one Shiva multiple Purushas. This is the magic of Maya.
Okay, that was the thing I didn't understand, but now it's clear. Okay. Next question was with this way of manifestation, like from Shiva over Shakti, which we talked about, with the five energies. Since we also carry like everything which is outside, inside of us as well, is there kind of way of this process as well, like contemplating a thing I want to have in my life, and then like opening the space in my heart for kind of for this intuition to react to things? They're kind of
Yes, everything that we do has this reflection of the five energies, because at first we have an intention. Sure, for us is more like a desire. We want something, and this is the power of will. And you see, this power of will is not just at the beginning of the realization. It's all the way from the beginning to the end. It's the energy that sustains us to know and do. It's not like we just have the impulse, the intention, and then everything goes. It's like something that gives the direction in which we want to go and keeps that direction, because if this will is not kept until end, then it's very easily to change direction. And sure enough, in our life it happens. It's like, you are in this evening and thinking, tomorrow I will wake up at 4 o'clock and meditate. And then the clock, the alarm goes on, and you thinking, oh no, I will not meditate, I will sleep more, because you are not maintaining that intention, that power of will. But if you have the power of will, at 4 o'clock you go up and meditate. So this will, desire, has to be from the beginning to end. But then, like you said, you have to open yourself to have the know-how, how to do, how to express my intention. What are the things that are necessary to express that intention? And then, sure, you have to put that intention in practice, because a lot of people using that kind of secret and such, they said, let the universe act for me. But no, sometimes there is a very beautiful Sufi story. I like it very much. It's about the god and the camel. So a master and the disciple are traveling through the desert, and they have a camel with them. Usually the master is on the camel, but sure, sometimes it changes. And they arrive at a point called the caravanserai. It's like a resting point for travelers. And when they arrive there, master says to the disciple, please tie the camel to some post there. Tie the camel. And the disciple says, sure, I will tie it. The master goes inside to rest, and the disciple is too tired to tie the camel, and just let it there and think, let God take care of the camel, because I'm too tired. And I am trusting God, and I will let him take care of the camel. I just go and rest. Sure enough, the camel wanders and goes from there, and in the morning when they go outside, there is no camel. And sure, the master turns to the disciple and asks him, did you tie the camel? And the disciple was a cheeky disciple, says, no, I let God take care of the camel. You told us that God is everywhere and take care of everything. But then master says, trust in God, but tie your camel. Because God has no hands. You are the hands of God. So trust in God, but tie your camel. So the moral of the of the story is that we have to act. In Romania, there is a saying, God gives you, but don't put it in your bag. So it's like you have to do your part. So for sure, in every action we go through these stages, and sure, we have this awareness and bliss as our nature, and then we have the will and the intention. We have to know how and have to act. If we are good yoga practitioners, we try to do kriya, let the action go through us without attach ourselves to the fruits of the action, doing karma yoga. If we are not, we are just doing karma, creating karma through action, because we are attached to the fruit of the action. I hope it's clearer now.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, if there are no more questions, I wish you a beautiful night. And please don't forget to keep the awareness of the heart, yes, like we spoke. And try, like homework for the next week, to do this meditation like in this way. When you approach the end of the meditation, continue to meditate for a while with the eyes open, and then just go to do your things. So don't go from meditation to action without this establishing yourself in the awareness of the heart, because in this way you get the habit to be aware even when you go outside, and unify your life in a one life. So Manu, you want to say something?
Oh, just thank you.
Oh, okay. I saw that you open your mic. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, Vasan.
Good night. Thank you.